Right, they just figure out like, oh, ranch dressing. Okay. Like that thing that's ubiquitous in every grocery store.
It's like,
we cranberry juice.
We
Got
found this substance called gasoline.
Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We're here talking about the Peacemaker Season 1 finale. It's Cow or Never.
Come hold me close.
That's right. It's Cow or Never. We open with the team in the Pause a Moment van on the way to kill the giant Mothra cow.
Yes.
Adebayo is still trying to apologize for betraying Peacemaker, and he's understandably having none of it at that moment. We end with a victory for the good guys.
Yes.
We get a funny Justice League cameo, which we'll talk about. And we have Peacemaker sitting outside his trailer next to the imagined ghost of his dead father.
Yes. A la Dexter.
Right, yeah, good point. He's feeding Goff the butterfly leader with the last bits of nectar.
Yes.
Credits, end of season. So, before we go into specifics, Paul, what did you think of the season finale of Peacemaker?
I liked it. I did. I thought it tied up what it needed to tie up well, and left space in the future for more. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it was a quality finale. It focused on this question of basically, is Peacemaker a hero or a villain? And then it, I think, pretty much answered the question. He's a hero. It gave him this. Our villains, the butterflies, basically are the logical conclusion to his mission statement. Hey, peace at any cost.
Yes.
Your planet's in trouble, and we can fix it if we kill everyone and replace you all with butterflies. And so, are you on board? And, Suicide Squad Peacemaker might be on board.
Yeah.
It might have been. This Peacemaker says the reason he wasn't was because he had friends.
A nit that I would pick is earlier in the series he expressed doubt about global warming.
In other words, he wouldn't have joined the butterflies in Suicide Squad either, is what you're saying?
I mean, maybe, I guess they might have addressed other issues as well. So maybe he would have been on their side in that aspect. But I feel like on that one point, I feel like he expressed different views. So
here, it's somewhat the fact that the team, his friends, would be killed.
Yes.
And their interest is what ultimately, I think, impacts him to kill the cow, activate human torpedo. So we see this arc that he takes. It picked a little, question to answer, and it answered that question.
I was convinced. I had a fear that Judo Master's what he knew that we didn't know wouldn't live up to a threat ultimately. I felt like there was a possibility that I would hear it and think, oh, is that the reason? But that reason sounds perfectly understandable. It just becomes a question of why would they? I guess maybe somebody else had a connection to Judo Master, so they didn't want to. It's like, oh well, we don't have to take over his body. I mean, if their goal was actually to do, to improve everything, then it's over? So I guess it's like, oh no, he's butt down with it, so we don't have to kill him. So I guess that you could infer that. One of the things I was okay, if I decide to believe their motivations, it's still problematic, their course, but if you decide to believe their motivations, I guess it's plausible that they would allow Judo Master to retain
and
his
like they
freedom
allow Peacemaker, right? I mean, they're like, oh, Peacemaker, you agree with us,
and so, Peacemaker too, yes,
yeah. So in this case, Judo Master did agree with him, was on board, and then we have that last shot of him standing around the bodies, crying at the loss of basically the world in his mind. The world's doomed now. But he's still around, so I imagine he could still be a character for season 2, which season 2 has been renewed. There will be a season 2.
Yes. Yeah, and I've seen James Gunn caution anybody with the rumors of what is going to occur because he doesn't seem to know himself.
Okay.
So
very, very nice. We can theory craft all we want because it'll probably be wrong.
Yeah.
So the little cameo, you've got the Justice League. Adebayo, tells her mom, Amanda Waller, hey,
yes.
you should send in the Justice League. This thing's bigger than we are. And so Amanda Waller apparently does that, calls in the Justice League. They arrive too late. They get insulted by Peacemaker. And then we have that great bit. Jason Momoa tells Ezra Miller to F off.
Yes.
Which is pretty funny. Apparently they had Batman and Cyborg were also in a deleted version of that scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they cut them out because there's this other Batman coming out, and then there's something with Cyborg. Apparently, they decided let's just keep it Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman, and Flash.
I mean, it would have been a bullshit silhouette version because
right. It would have been. It wasn't Ben Affleck.
The
actor
Affleck.
who was the actor who was standing for Batman actually did a little Instagram. Had a picture of himself in the suit. It was like, oh, I got to be in it, but they cut my scene.
I mean, that's interesting, I guess, that they're doing that because, I feel like it's not in that universe, or it's not in that time. The new Batman, I mean.
Right. So maybe that's why they were like, snip, snip, snip. Let's just not even.
Let's not even call the question.
Yeah.
well, good. They averted anybody asking that question. They've solved it.
That's right. I thought about this actually last week, but now especially that we see Peacemaker haunted by the ghost of his dad.
Yes.
That if you do like a little analogy to say Star-Lord, I think Star-Lord and Peacemaker, there's some similarities there, and one of those similarities is they both have terrible dads.
Sure.
That they essentially kill.
Yes.
Anyway, it's just interesting.
Yes, but the difference between and I actually heard an interview with James Gunn. That you can certainly say that they're both bad dads, but at least Ego liked his son.
Okay. Well, liked him as like, I'll use you as fuel, or what? I don't know.
Well, he was like, no. At first, he was like,
They're
let's rule
catch.
the universe together.
Yeah. Until he felt rejected, and he's like, now I'll use him as fuel, or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So at least for that short period of time, he
Gotcha.
was,
He
he
was a
liked
bad
his
dad.
son. He
Okay.
liked his son. They played, he didn't insult him,
Right.
while
Still a terrible
during
dad.
that period. Yes.
But yes.
Okay.
Killed his mom, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, he has more kids.
We had an excellent fight scene. It was very violent. Vigilante goes off.
Yes.
Limb loss, and we knew he was capable, but he's quite capable in a fight. I liked the fact that they used the Wigwam theme song and then started slowing it down as the good guys start to lose. So it was like, we have the song, it's like, yeah, and then and Hardcore gets shot and Vigilante gets shot. It was effective.
Yeah, I liked Leota being the human cannonball.
Yeah, the human torpedo bit where she's just standing in this tunnel and she's like, activate human torpedo.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how is that oh, it's not gonna work. There we go. She just boop right into a wall. And then obviously the big ending is where Peacemaker activates it for her. Technically she's the one that kills the cow and gets all of its innards spilled onto her. There's a few funny gags in here. I liked the gag with the fact that Peacemaker convinces the team that Eagly can take the helmet to the barn. And they're all like, it's an eagle! What? This is stupid! He's like, no. Eagly, you could do this. And he, to Eagly's credit, does better than probably most eagles would have done. Literally picks up the helmet and flies it in the direction of the barn.
Yes.
Before veering off into the woods and forgetting about it. But just the fact that they're all like, maybe this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an eagle. It didn't work.
Yeah, that was a couple. That was one of at least a few times in the episode where it's like maybe they have less story for the episode.
Yes, I think you're right. 'Cause that was like the excuse for a whole passage of time with a series of little one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
And I thought actually the least effective comedic beat was in that group of stuff. There's a conversation between Economos and Vigilante where they're talking about ants versus fish.
Yes.
It just didn't go anywhere, and it just didn't. It was like, it's not funny enough. I would have cut that, frankly. And
sure.
Anyway, but I get it. When you do a series of silly conversations, some of them are not going to be as funny as others.
That's true.
But something else that was good was, in terms of funny bits, Economos being forced to talk about his decision to color his beard.
Yes.
In the third person, as though he's a butterfly commenting on his own pathetic life.
Yes.
Like, it reminded me of it's a comedy sketch strategy, which is try to find ways to force people to tell the truth. So hence they're like, oh look, they're drunk at a bar, they're a deathbed conversation, find ways like, what are situations where people are more inclined to tell the truth, and then you get to some comedic bits. Here,
so it's a new one that you could use in the future.
Right,
with,
exactly.
A butterfly
if you are
in
pretending
taking
to be
over
an
your
alien
body.
butterfly. Very creative way around to get to Economos is forced to tell the truth about his beard.
Yeah.
That was so. Hats off to that, and the fact that Peacemaker is listening in.
Yes.
So when he's like, then I had this one guy that kept just talking about it over and over, and you can see Peacemaker's like, oh wow, I really was kind of a dick to this guy. So that was all, good comedy gold.
Yes. Yeah, I rewatched the episode wherein he revealed how he was abused as a kid, which people were calling him bully and an abuser. So that's why he has to, people are abusing him. So
that's right. Adebayo also saves Harcourt from being butterflied. Catches the butterflies going in Harcourt's mouth. And
I was initially slightly surprised that she suffered so much damage and then lived. Although the star of the show, Peacemaker, apparently originally in the script was supposed to die, but
oh really?
The
I didn't know that.
The maker of the show, James Gunn, liked the character and the actors so much that when DC went to him or Warner Brothers and said, "Hey, is there any show you're interested in making?" He's like, "That one." So he was inclined to save him because of that. And something I didn't know when I was watching the series until after I looked it up is Jennifer Holland, Amelia Harcourt, is James Gunn's romantic interest. So in real life, so it's interesting that these two people are very close to James. He kills them, but then he brings them back.
Well, it occurred to me once she got saved from the being butterflied, I was like, okay, she's gonna live, right? Because she would be like, "We saved her from being butterflied, and she died tragically." Like, oh,
well, you wouldn't want to, one of those like, "Kill me,"
exactly, kill me. Oh. So she was gonna survive at that point. I liked the bit where we see Vigilante recovering in the hospital, and then he just casually jumps out the window to escape. Well, looks like I'm better. Disappears. That was pretty good. I like that. Another fun comedic beat. So in that moment, at the montage of like, where are they now? We have Adebayo basically come and do a big news conference where she outs Task Force X.
Yes.
To the surprise of her mom. Who was like, whoa. And basically, gets Peacemaker off the hook. Yes. So that's a huge development, which obviously will go into season 2. Now they're out in the open. I'm glad they did that because, the apology that we see her making in the beginning, as Peacemaker says, is not enough. Like, you're apologizing. You've done a terrible, terrible thing. So she makes up for it, which I appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's interesting about that character is, I think just in those two movies, are the only ways we've seen Amanda Waller, if I'm correct. I've seen her in a number of like animated things and other comics where she's had more influence. So it's interesting that in just a small way that she's being outed.
Right. Yeah, good point. It's just like she's not in control. Like she seems like she's always in control. Always like 2 steps
And also
ahead.
too, it's like at least in other works I've seen it. There was more ambiguity in terms of her motives. Wherein here you can really, certainly in the first movie, she was willing to kill people and,
personally killed.
She was, she was pretty ruthless in both the Suicide Squad movies, and then, I think they established that basically. So it makes me wonder exactly what he's got planned. Because it makes you wonder about how that would affect, like, if they ever make another Suicide Squad movie, if she just finds a way to, get out of it, or if she suffers any real consequences.
Yeah, it's interesting because we see Economos, seems like he's gone back to working for Task Force X, right? He goes back into his little cubicle and he's typing away.
That's in the prison, yeah.
Is he in prison?
No. He goes to the penitentiary for into his office.
Okay. Point being, maybe Amanda Waller is the villain of the next season.
I feel like the only thing we would see probably is just some scenes of her being interrogated or whatever. But I think
right.
as
you already said, James Gunn doesn't know, so we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem likely to me. I think they'd rather have someone else.
He didn't get to use his dad's rocket boots, so I was wrong on that. Oh well. They had to send Eagly instead. Sonic Boom.
What did you wager on that?
I didn't do candy. I'm candy free. My conscience is clear.
Something that I had told you when I think I watched the first couple of episodes is I feel that it is a better series than the Marvel TV shows.
I think you're right. I agree that it accomplished what it set out to do, and it in that James Gunn fashion, something on paper it seems too absurd to work.
Yeah.
But then you see it in practice, and it's like, damn, if that doesn't work.
I think its tone is more consistent. I think the serious parts I think worked really well, and
yet very
they were
funny
able to go in and out of the humor and the seriousness more deftly, I think, than any of the Marvel shows.
Marvel, take a lesson.
Yeah.
And it was interesting the fact that Goff is still alive and is still hanging out with Peacemaker, even though Peacemaker shot Sophie, basically, rejected Goff essentially.
Yes.
You also feel like he has enough nectar to keep Goff alive, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Empty. It's a question, I guess, of where he was getting it in the first place, right?
Right.
If he stocked up when he initially stole, captured Goff, and then just took some jars or whatever, or if there was sort of like, okay, obviously this isn't enough to feed the whole planet, but we have a stock, or
to feed one
somehow they're able
butterfly.
to investigate something else. It's interesting, like, nothing on this planet can feed us. It's like, okay.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Right, they just figure out, like, oh, ranch dressing. Okay. Like that thing that's ubiquitous in every grocery store.
It's like,
cranberry juice.
We found this substance called gasoline.
How can we possibly get our hands on that?
Yes.
So there is that question of how long will Goff survive? But I guess, they could keep Goff around as long as they want. And obviously Goff will play some role in season 2 as well. Or they wouldn't have kept Goff around.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to decide to kill him off screen. Like, he died in between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So
And it's interesting that it says a lot about Goff that he's free now, but he doesn't attempt to infect,
Hey, go home, or maybe can't. I don't know.
or Peacemaker. He doesn't attempt to jump into Peacemaker's mouth.
Right. I was thinking that myself. Like, how dangerous would Goff be in that moment? I guess he would still die, though. Even if he
Yes.
killed Peacemaker, he'd still be like, I'm on borrowed time.
Yes, I think it's really though the James Gunn saying that there's an emotional relationship between the two now. So
Right, and that Peacemaker is not just killing indiscriminately. Like, he could squash the bug, but he's like,
no,
what?
but I mean, no. In terms of Goff actually did have feelings. Like that's why he didn't infect him. They thought he would actually go along with what they said.
It's a complex relationship, and I'm glad they kept it around.
Yeah. I hope he has good ideas for that. I guess the Arrowverse is different than the,
Oh, it's true. He insulted Green Arrow as well.
Right, I know, but I'm saying Green Arrow has its own Superman and Batman is what I'm saying.
Ah, okay.
So and its own Flash that's the same as the one that's in Justice League, basically. So it's that universe is all I'm saying. It's interesting that they chose that one, that's what it is in.
I think there's going to be the Flash movie, Flashpoint, is going to be a thing where they kind of multiverse themselves as well. So maybe that's where this is all going to mix and match. So anyway, that is Peacemaker season 1. When season 2 comes out, we'll certainly chat about it. In the meantime, I think we're going to talk about the new Apple TV series Severance. Looks very interesting. And Moon Knight isn't that far away from coming out.
No, it's not.
So we'll be chatting about that as well. And anyway, other stuff is coming out as well. So we'll chat about things as they come up. But thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Sure, man.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.